This video offers a brief overview of the two-part assessment process you'll be involved in this semester, so that you gain insight into the why, what, when, and how of the process. Let's begin by addressing the why. Why do we assess student learning in the MAC program? First of all, MAC is a new Gen Ed program for our university. It was launched in fall 2021, and it's a Gen Ed program focused on our students acquiring foundational skills and knowledge, labeled the MAC competencies. Some of the MAC competencies are very new components of Gen Ed at UNCG. The program's novelty gives us an important reason to evaluate the MAC's effectiveness so that we can fine-tune the program as it continues to be implemented. We also need to be able to report truthfully about our Gen Ed outcomes to the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges, SAC-COC. SAC-COC is our accrediting body whose standards we must comply with. And finally, and just as importantly, we use this assessment process as a way into meaningful cross-disciplinary conversations about teaching general education on our campus. Gathering cross-disciplinary information on how and how well our students are learning the MAC competencies is a key first step to building fruitful communities of teaching practice around each of the competencies. And it's also a way to make the case for proven effective curricular and pedagogical resources, such as course development grants and faculty fellowships. These reasons point out answers to the why assess MAC question, and moves us to the practical next questions. What are the components of the MAC assessment process? How do we complete them? And of course, the most practical of all questions, when do we need to submit this by? Let's start with the what. The Gen Ed assessment process was established in 2011 by our General Education Council, and it's an ongoing two-part exercise that's repeated just about every semester, though the competencies and courses that it focuses on rotate continually. Essentially, the process is about asking three questions. First, are MAC students learning what we want them to learn? Second, do the MAC student learning outcomes, or SLOs, continue to reflect what we want the program to deliver? And third, do the faculty-developed proficiency evaluating rubrics serve their purpose well? Do they need alteration to be more useful for faculty who are involved in creating and assessing assignments in that particular competency? To collect data that's meaningful and actionable across the many disciplines and programs that offer MAC courses here at UNCG, the process consistently breaks down into two chunks. The first part takes place in several steps across the term and consists of the course instructors assessing their students' work. This process starts with a step that you can turn to in the next couple of weeks if you haven't already. You, the course instructor, should identify assignments in your course that best address the SLOs that are officially associated with the designated MAC competency your course delivers. Steps 2 and 3 happen at the same time. That's to say, when your students turn in those selected assignments, you should score your students' work using the proficiency rubric for the MAC competency your course delivers. You then aggregate those scores and use those numbers to complete the results form. Now, before we talk about part 2 of the process, let's pause to focus in on a few terms I just referenced that you should know about. The first phrase I used that we should get clear on is designated MAC competency. So our general education program is new. It launched in fall 2021. It may be that this is the first semester you're offering your course in the context of MAC. So you may be watching this video wondering whether your course is GEC or MAC designated or both or what. The simple answer is, if I've contacted you to take part in MAC assessment sampling, your course is in the MAC program and is designated in the university catalog to deliver the particular MAC competency I've mentioned in my emails to you. Since MAC is our active Gen Ed program, it's important we all acquaint ourselves with the MAC competency that our courses are designated to deliver. What is the competency's overall aim? What are its student learning outcomes? And how are they parsed out in terms of proficiency levels in the rubric? Another set of terms that we should get clear on are student learning outcomes and proficiency rubric. In the individualized assessment folder that I've shared with you in Box, you can open and review the document labeled rubric to view the competency aim, the SLOs, and the rubric that have been created by peer faculty involved in the creation of the MAC program in connection with the delivery of the particular MAC competency that your course is designated to deliver. Another term I've used is the results form. You can find the results form in that same personalized Box assessment folder. The results form is simply the template used by my office to capture the student learning data that we're interested in. The results form is what you'll actively be using later this semester to input your aggregate scores for your students, as mentioned earlier. And it's also what you need to upload to your personalized Box assessment folder. Moving on to part 2 of the assessment process that you're involved in this term. This part focuses on the peer assessment of student work. Along with your completed results form, we're also asking you to supply a small sample of your students' work for use in an assessment workshop at the start of next semester that's hosted by the General Education Council and the Office of Assessment, Accreditation, and Academic Program Planning. You don't need to participate in that workshop, but you can if it interests you, so do let me know if you're interested. Any student work that's used in next semester's peer assessment workshop will be prepared for anonymous review. It's important to emphasize here that the aim of the workshop is not to judge individual students or instructors or courses, but to identify and evaluate the level of student learning in the MAC program. In your personalized Box assessment folder, you can open the student sampling list to see which students in your section have been randomly chosen to be sampled for this part of the process. Don't worry just now about needing to possibly amend the list. So for example, if a student on the list withdraws from your course or for whatever reason didn't turn in work for the featured assignment, we can make adjustments to the list as needed. If for any reason you think you'll need more time to meet this deadline, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. In this brief overview video, we talked about the why, the what, the when, and the how of the MAC assessment process that we're calling on you to participate in this term. If you want to talk through the process of selecting course assignments for the scoring process, or you have questions about completing the results form, or you want to ask follow-ups about the student work sampling component of the process, please email me any questions you have, and we can go from there. Thanks for watching this video, and best wishes for a good semester.